Welcome to the webinar, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I got us a fresh meme drop. I'm sure is relatable to not just me, but everybody who deals in sales and marketing and all kinds of stuff. Andy, I know this is you. Don't be shy. I know this is definitely you.
It's definitely me.
Pedro and Andy are second cousins basically. So.
Two peas in a pod.
This was literally me last night. I had a referral and our emails were going back and forth. I could tell the homeowner was up late at night. I'm like, just waiting for that last one to be like, you read the application.
Get it in there. Come on. Nice. All right. Well, we got a couple installs of the week here. We had a few actually up in Angels Camp in California, and this was the fastest one we did, 23 days site survey to install. It's pretty decent. And we had two more that were actually quite a bit bigger. They were 8 kilowatts that we also did under 30 days from site survey to install. And remember, we keep receipts here. So thought that was pretty cool.
We're just waiting for the tip, right? Like,
right?
The perfect one. I love it. Look at the low profile install, black on black panels. That roof, perfect quality for a solar install. Love it.
Yep. Good stuff. Love a three-peat. Then we had another decent sized 7.8 and went in 49 days. And there was this is, again, it's got backup. It's got all kinds of fun hardware stuff. I don't believe it was a full NPU, but this is just, again, a great demonstration of some of the things you're going to encounter out in the field. Look at that old hairy, rusty heater box.
Yeah.
And we put the brand new one in here. And then I did also want to call out, I love that these are almost invisible. We did a really good job painting that decent sized conduit, but you can, obviously the equipment's there, but you're not necessarily looking at giant, shiny conduit lines running everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? 2 gallons of paint just for that?
Yeah. Hefty stuff. All right. And then last but not least, got our weekly wins here. Wanted to shout out, we got some more of our awesome project management team moving full-time into the concierge project management hybrid role that we are building out here. So Daisy and Amy are on there. You probably recognize their names. You may have gotten emails from them before. They're awesome. They are definitely going to help us keep continuing to elevate that homeowner experience, taking care of business. I also got just another reminder. We are continuing to refine that change order process. We're keeping it as simple as possible to make sure that there's fewer questions, less confusion going on, less of the clicking through. I'm always a believer in fewest clicks possible. So definitely want to make sure that's working for you guys. If you have any other additional feedback, keep it coming. And then, of course, as we talked about last week, and now we're here, we got Enphase 10C, and we've got Michael from Enphase, as well as our very own Michelle on the call. And we're really excited to have him just talk about our partnerships the rest of the year and beyond. So yeah, real quick agenda. We'll touch on change order. We want a nice recap on RE Plus if anybody was able to attend along with the rest of the crew. Hopefully, we get the same impression. Got a good vibe check. And then I don't want to forget to do introductions this time because I always do. I'm your host, Danny O'Malley, Director of Marketing. We got Brandon Barton, VP of Channel Sales. We got Andy, Head of Sales. And special guests today. We have Michael Lemaire from Enphase, SoCal Sales Manager, and Michelle Phelps, Director of Supply Chain for ESP. I feel like both of your titles should be fancier for how awesome you are, respectively. So I think we should find a way to like spin those up a little. Like Michelle, you should be like tier 1 procurement master, master sergeant or something like that. Officer, yes, there you go. Okay, I'll make a new email signature line for you. Right up. Change orders. Brandon, do you want to talk about this? You were instrumental in helping us refine, and Andy, both of you guys, obviously, but just making sure we're stripping out the fluff. We had like a lot of fields on that form before, and we probably took out, I'd guess, 60 to 70% of the questions on there.
I think the phrase is less is more.
Less is
right. But we need to know as much about the project, but we also want to make it easy for you to fill out the form. Cause a lot of times it's just like, hey bro, I need to increase the number of panels from 30 to 32. Can you send out a change order? That's so easy. But then there's times where it gets complicated, where it's either pricing, lender changes, and co-applicants that need to be added in there. So either way, we want you to hop in anytime there's a change to a project post sale. We want you to hop into this change order request form, fill it out to the best of your ability. We have a team that's dedicated to you to support you and get that change order done quickly, promptly. Once that change order is completed, we will notify you. You'll get an email. We like to reply all and get all that going and set up for success. Once the change order is completed, our team even sends that over to your project manager so you can focus on selling. And our team is now aware and is fully executable. So that way installation is smooth. There's no complications and the homeowner gets what they were hoping to receive.
Yeah, for me, it's if for some reason you don't understand what's happening or what the change order request form is asking, maybe read a little bit of the details, because there's some notes throughout that'll kind of explain what the question is asking in a little bit more detail, or even hovering over the little I, if you see that. There's different things throughout that, can get complicated, but for the most part, if you don't get it, let us know. We'll help you fill it out. And once you do it one time, you won't get it wrong again. So good stuff. Thanks for making those changes and giving the feedback to you.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, RE Plus, I think we should definitely dedicate a little bit of time to this, because this was the industry's biggest event of the year generally, and there was some like uncertainty going into it. What's the vibe gonna be like, and all that good stuff. So yeah, Michelle, all of you guys win. I was not able to attend this time, so would love to hear your thoughts. What was it like? What'd you take away?
I'll jump in here first and just say, first and foremost, like, to all the partners that we got to meet up with, all the sales groups that we got to meet up with all the different teams of lenders, everybody, thank you for meeting up with us. It was, I think that quote there at the bottom, Danny, of like, we weren't really sure how this was going to be going in, like, let's say in like May, April, the beginning of the year. We're like, I wonder if anyone's even going to RE Plus. Yeah. Turns out 50,000 solar bros went to like Rocket. And, granted, a lot of it was commercial, a lot of it was utility scale, but there was a lot of resi stuff going on. There were a lot of people. It was pretty chaotic and surprising in a really, really good way. And so I left personally, and I think the sentiment around the horn was like, solar is thriving. This thing's moving in the right direction. Nothing is stagnant right now. The time is now. Let's take advantage of it. There's a lot of people moving and shaking and making this thing happen. So if you're in this industry, you're in a great space. Let's go. That's my two cents.
I mean, for a visual context, right? I'm a small guy. It felt like in Venetian, it's big, right? If you haven't been to that conference center, like it's huge, right? It felt like being an ant in an anthill. There was that many people there. You couldn't move. It was like literally shoulder to shoulder. It was great. The interactions and the vibe check was all positive.
Yeah, I think to echo what Andy said, solar's constantly evolving. As we run into roadblocks, there's always a way to pivot, something new that's coming. And I think we're going to see a lot of new things coming out over the next couple months, which is great.
Yeah. Michael, do you have anything? How was the show for you?
We have new stuff coming. We have new stuff here as we speak. It's great. The conference is great every year. I think Brandon and Andy hit it on the head. There's a lot of energy. Definitely a lot of folks wondering what next year holds, but I think most people are all staying positive and making sure that they're trying to do the best they can. So it's always good. It's like a little shot in the arm or a kick in the ass. Every time you go, you get a little energy going forward. It's perfect.
Yep.
You need to expend some of that energy walking down the miles and miles of hallways of the Venetian Expo Center. But yes,
you lose some weight. It's good.
You have to. They need to have like multiple Starbucks stations. You're done with your Starbucks by the time you get from the entrance to the door.
Exactly.
Andy and I were almost ready to get that double wide wheelchair going. So many steps on.
So many steps.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah, I think definitely the takeaway is we've been through a lot of stuff as an industry, I think, over the years for sure. And I was just thinking this morning, like solar has always been a David and Goliath industry. And it still feels that way, but I think like we're still anytime something gets thrown at us, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna be able to find a way through, and it's by finding strong partnerships, cementing those, looking for new add-ons. Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming. All right. It's your time to shine, Michael. We're super excited to announce this last time, and we couldn't wait to get you back on. So tell us what you got.
Yeah, very excited to talk about the new product that's coming out. I saw some of those installs of the week had Tesla meter collars, and that's what we have as well. So we think that it's a pretty streamlined design, looks really clean on the wall, a lot cleaner than what we used to have. So yeah, definitely excited. I'll give you a quick 2 minutes on me, just for those of you who don't know me. As these guys said, I'm the sales manager for Southern California for Enphase. So every installer in Southern California is technically a partner of mine. Goal is to obviously sell as many micros and batteries as possible, and you guys are a big part of that. So anything I can do to help get my contact info from these folks, I'm happy to talk to homeowners. I'm happy to talk to you guys. Make sure to answer questions, especially as this new product comes out. We want the rollout to be really good. It should be super user-friendly and easy, but obviously understand that when a new product comes out, there's a lot of questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out, guys. If you can share my contact info, email, phone number, happy to answer questions. I'm not big on the bells and whistles PowerPoint presentation with all the extra fluffy stuff. So I mainly am going to try to just hit the product, show you what's really, really excellent about it, what homeowners are really going to care about, and then open up the floor and let you guys ask a bunch of questions. So there's 3 products to know. They're all coming out together, and you can kind of think of them as one little happy ecosystem. There's the 10C, there's the IQ meter collar, and there's the Combiner 6. And I'll go through all 3 of them. The main thing we tried to do, I probably should start with this slide actually, just because it's better. The main thing we were trying to do with the new system was get cleaner on the wall. Way too many boxes on the wall in the top half. Here I am screwing it up already. Much cleaner install on the bottom. And I've seen a bunch of these out in the wild getting installed today. It's out available today. It looks much cleaner. I realize I'm saying that as the Enphase guy, but it's true. I would say that even if I didn't work for the company. It's just a much cleaner, more aesthetically pleasing look. It also fits much better. So for those of you who have had to deal with batteries 3 feet away from this and 3 feet away from windows, 3 feet away from doors, you're still going to have those requirements, but this is a much smaller, takes up half the wall space. So it's a much smaller, much more flexible design for the install guys, for ESP, to make sure they can fit it without needing change orders or asking for where it wants to go, running at 200 feet. So all of that stuff is coming. The other thing is we're getting rid of some of the equipment. So you see this thing up here. This is the system controller. This was a big part of our old system. It's now eliminated entirely from the architecture. So that just means things are going to get a little bit cheaper, hopefully, as time goes on. Labor is easier. All in all, hopefully a better solution than what we've had and what you guys have been selling for the last couple of years now.
I still remember when we were looking at all the, everything coming out with M3 and obviously charging head with Enphase, we had to come up with these diagrams of like, okay, in these AHJs, they allow 3 inches between these, but in these it's actually 6 inches. But you can do the stack, but you can do this. So we had to play Tetris with all this crap. So I love just getting rid of all that.
Yeah, I'm basically a permitting expert, amateur permitting expert on the side here over the last 6 months, especially in Los Angeles, where Los Angeles County tries their absolute hardest to make this difficult. It's all on the batteries. So this is 2, if you guys see these are on off switches. This is 2 5 kWh units stacked front to back. So I know the homeowner's not going to care that much, but when these guys are lifting the batteries, they're lifting one light 5 kWh unit, then they're lifting another. Makes it super easy to service if it needs service, as opposed to some of the heavier batteries, which are going to require multiple people to take the whole thing off the wall. So ours is designed to be easier to service, easier for the installers to put together, requires less manpower, a lot more modular. It's 10 kWh. We're going back to 10. So I should actually stop right here and just be super clear. We are not eliminating the 5P. We're not end of lifing the 5P. There will still be some good use cases for the 5P, and I'll mention those later. Definitely for the majority of your customers, and as people continue to look for backup, this is going to be the much better solution. But there will be 5Ps in the marketplace going forward. So just want to make sure that's clear off the bat. But yeah, going back to 10 kWh, we just feel it's a better form factor. Still a 15-year warranty. It's compatible with all of our IQ series micros. So if you guys run into or sold IQ 7s with no batteries, and some of your customers are now looking for batteries, this is a perfect solution. You can sell it without needing to add a ton of extra cost into it.
Starting from the 120 Country Club Drive.
And redoing the installs, all of that sort of stuff. So much easier in terms of compatibility as well. It will be backwards compatible with the 5P. I won't touch on that too much because it's not out yet, probably not until the beginning of next year, but you will be able to add this to an existing 5P install down the road.
Yeah. So to summarize, guys, if you have a 20 kilowatt system, we can do that with the 10Cs. That's a 10 and a 10 equating to 20. But if you want to do a 15 kilowatt hour system, you cannot pair, at least at this time, a 10C with a 5P.
That's 100% correct. So that's a good point to call out and make clear. So yeah, you're either doing the 10C or 5Ps. You cannot do one half of this battery either. So there is no 5C. You have to do 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 80 kWh. And then you'll also have the 5P. So 5, 10, 15, on and on. But you cannot pair them together.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, that's huge.
Here's the meter collar. Pretty similar to what you guys might have seen with Tesla, if you have seen it with Tesla. So there's a couple of key differences that we think make ours a little bit better, but for the most part, it's going to do the same job. So what is that job? It's going to provide the entire main service panel backup power. It's essentially going to back up every single circuit or load in your main service panel without requiring the installer, in this case, ESP, to run a bunch of circuits to a sub panel, break stucco, and redo wiring. Everything that's a big pain in the butt about backup installs has been totally simplified. All you're going to do, or I shouldn't say you, but the utility is going to do is take the meter collar that's hung in a bag. They're going to cut the meter ring, pop the meter off, install the collar, and then ESP can come back and commission the system, or they potentially can commission the system before that, and everything won't require a second truck roll. So it's super easy. It's a 1 day. It turns a whole home backup install from 4 days into 1 day, if that. And so it's frankly really cool technology. One of the cooler things this industry has done in a little while, and it's going to make things a lot cheaper and a lot easier going forward in the space.
How has the utility reacted to this meter collar?
Great question. So skepticism, certainly, but all three major utilities have now approved this meter collar. That's PG&E, SDG&E, and SCE. For those of you who sell an LADWP, I wouldn't count on this anytime soon. Same thing is true for all of kind of the municipal utilities, Pasadena, Burbank. But the big three have fully approved this device. There are meter collars going today in all three of those utilities. And so, yeah, utilities definitely took a little while. They're never easy to work with, but we have cleared all of that, and you guys should not have any issues going forward. It takes about, PG&E and SDG&E are faster. They're about 10 business days to come out and install the collar. SCE is a little longer. They're 21 business days right now, so 4 weeks, but I'll explain as a unique thing about SCE and SDG&E that will allow you guys to kind of avoid that in certain cases. So I'll jump into that towards the end.
Okay.
Couple quick just items. 15-year warranty as well. Only works on 200 amp and below service panels. So if some of you guys are running into 400 amp main service panels, which hopefully is semi-rare or mostly rare, this solution won't work. There's no solution, no meter collar solution that will work with 400 amp main service panels at this.
Michael, some bus bars have 200 split. That's not considered a 400 amp in your eyes, correct?
Great question. That's actually the opposite is true. If it's a 200 split, the meter collar will not be compatible either. So it's great call out, great question. Make sure that we have that right. But yes, anything over just your standard 200, a split will not be compatible.
Thank you.
The two key differences between ours and Tesla, which again, you may not even mention to homeowners, but still worth knowing. Number one is this little connector right here can actually be switched. So Teslas can only be on the left here. This connector can go left and right. Going to mention that to a homeowner? Probably not. Does it make the install easier? It's also a little bit more flexible and probably cleaner in some cases. Definitely. There are going to be homeowners that are a lot of installers are very stoked to have this option on both sides. So just something to keep in your back pocket for now. And then the second thing is this redundant power. So what I mean by this is Tesla's meter collar can only be powered by the battery itself. So that means in the event of an extended outage, when the batteries have drained all the way down, the grid will turn back on, but the customer will not have the use of that meter collar until the batteries have hit a certain state of charge. Can't remember exactly what it is, but they need the batteries to charge. Our meter collar is powered by both the battery and the grid, which means that as soon as the grid comes back, the meter collar automatically senses that and reprovisions itself and starts working. The biggest thing that will make this easier for you guys is because of that redundant power source, SCE and SDG&E will allow the installer they will install the meter collar before the solar and battery is installed. So what I mean by that is ESP is going to go hang that meter collar from the meter and request its installation before the solar and battery install has happened. And it will either A, make sure that the collar is already installed by the time the install is ready and permits are ready, or B, drastically reduce the time that your homeowner is waiting for that collar to be installed. Get you guys paid faster, get jobs completed faster, PTO faster. It's just because of that redundant power source, the utility allows us to hang the collar without the solar and storage installed. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I did a good job explaining that. Tell me if I need to explain that differently.
I personally feel like you did an amazing job explaining it. So yeah, no problem there.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
No, you did great. If I understood it, then I'm sure everybody else did.
Great.
I'm just excited for integrated consumption because I know that's something that
You're right. I'm glad you brought that up as well. For those of you guys that have to deal with CTs, which I know ESP has to deal with quite a bit. Those CTs are integrated into the meter collar. So the easy way of describing it is dummy proof.
yes.
Most of the consumption issues or CT issues where the homeowner's complaining about consumption or mirrored consumption, those will be a thing of the past going forward.
Love it.
Awesome.
We have a question actually real quick that I'd like to answer live. It comes from Matt Young. Does the 10C work with non-export systems?
Yeah, great question. The answer is yes. The 10C should have brought this up. Yes, it works with non-export systems. It also works as a self-consumption battery as well, just to be clear. So for those of you that want to sell this as just a grid-tied or self-consumption or peak shaving battery, it is possible to do that. I don't necessarily think it's the best solution given that the meter collar is out, but it can do all of those things as well as work with non-export systems. Yes.
I think just from the standpoint of ESP, a lot of our homeowner complaints come from not having power on those self-consumption batteries.
Yep.
So currently, if you are looking at our adder list, the 10C is listed as a backup only opportunity. So although it's available for self-consumption, just know that our secret sauce here is backup only selections for the 10C. If you want to do self-consumption, you can lean on the 5P batteries at this time, but the 10Cs will be dedicated to whole home.
Yeah, and I would tell you guys that the 5P is a better self-consumption battery anyway.
Yeah.
It's just more effective, cost-effective solution. It's got great power for peak shaving, so it's perfect. The 5P is a better self-consumption solution anyway. The 10C should be sold as backup, and I agree. Going forward, I think the industry is moving towards backup. Homeowners are going to want backup power. So this is the solution for that. 6C. So I'll just go over the real basics here. The biggest thing, in my opinion, 15-year warranty. Our old combiners, including the 5, the 4, and the 3, were all a 5-year warranty. Tesla loved to hit on that. Oh, well, they do have a single point of failure. It's the combiner. Well, that's not totally true. The combiner is not a complicated piece of electronics as much as you might think. It's much less likely to fail, but we said, fine, 15-year warranty. Take that argument off the table. So everything on the wall, 15 years. Microinverters still have 20 years on the roof. 25 years. Gosh, that's bad. 25 years on the roof. Sorry. Biggest things here are real quick, actually. This is a good example of the size of the battery. So it's a little deeper, I guess, off the wall, but it's significantly smaller. I'll give you exactly one guess at who competitor Gen 3 is.
Rhymes with Mesla.
That's fair. So I don't want to go into too much technical detail here, but I mainly want to call out this load control breaker right here. The main reason I want to do that is to explain how this is really going to make a huge difference in the way you're selling. So the biggest issue with the meter collar and what sales guys are going to struggle with out of the gate is whole home backup means different things to different people, right? And maybe you guys are more experienced with this than even I am. I live in a 1,600 square foot home in San Clemente with no central AC. You can back up my entire house with just one of these things, no problem. In Los Angeles or some of the areas where it gets a little hotter and you need a massive 4 or 5 ton AC unit, you are not going to be able to back that up with a single one all by itself, except if you're using load control. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you have a homeowner who's got a 5 ton AC unit. You guys probably know just as well as I do that the homeowner probably doesn't really want to back that AC up. They think they do, but they might not want to. You probably aren't going to have a conversation with them that is, oh, you don't want to back that up. It just complicates things, it makes things confusing. The easiest way to describe it is, hey, we're going to land that air conditioner in this load control breaker right here. And we're going to set that load to shed whatever percentage you want, 90%, 50%, 20%, anything like that. As soon as the battery hits 50%, the AC unit will drop out of the microgrid or the backed up loads, and you'll be able to obviously power your more essential loads for longer. Does that make sense?
You had me at automatic. That's huge.
It's a massive benefit. It's the most kind of confident or solid load control solution on the market. The other solutions are smart breakers, which maybe you guys have seen or heard of. We're going to partner with lots of smart breaker companies as well, but this is a more kind of complete load control solution. It also allows you to sell a homeowner one 10C. If they don't want to, if they're balking at the price, say, great, we'll land the AC in the combiner and we just won't back that up. And then we can back up your entire house with a single 10C.
That's
The only other thing I want to mention here, small one, but probably matters more and more as time goes on, is we have an EV charger breaker in the combiner.
Dedicated.
With our competitors, you need to have space in the main service panel to install an EV charger. With us, you can install that EV charger directly into the combiner and do not need space in the main service panel, which would require potentially sub panels. And now you're doing extra wiring and things are more expensive. And for now, this will only work with our EV charger, but by the end of the year, this will be compatible with most, if not all, major EV chargers.
I heard, just to touch on EV chargers, and I probably shouldn't even mention this, but I heard you guys are doing the bidirectional.
Yeah, great question. We put out a press release about that about a week ago. That only resulted in about 97 phone calls to me on the first day of RE Plus. So that was a blast. The short answer is we're close. If you came to our lab in Fremont, you could see it in action. There's actually a really cool marketing video that we put out that shows one of our training guys plugging in his Ford Lightning into a pretty big house in Palo Alto. And after 60 seconds, the entire house lights up from the car. So it's coming. I would probably wait a year, probably not mentioning that to homeowners quite yet.
Yeah.
But it is coming.
I'm gonna scrub this part until Michelle says I don't have to cut this out.
All right.
Michelle, what are your thoughts? What are we?
Well, definitely wait on mentioning it to the homeowners, but it is very cool. I've seen it in the lab and it's awesome.
That's really it. So I don't have much else. I'll show you one in the live. Or Danny, do you have the photos that I sent you by chance?
Let me pop those back in.
So this is
I
an
see that.
install in the wild. You'll have to excuse my terrible photography. Maybe a little wide frame here would have helped, or, at least some thought before I just, use my iPhone 7 to take these photos. But this is a 10C in the wild. This is the combiner 6 is next to it. And then the meter collar is hung in that bag waiting for the utility. It's installed right next to that gate. This passed inspection. This has received PTO. It is 36 meters or 36 inches from the gas meter for those of you that have eagle eyes over there. So that's still a requirement. Yeah, it just looks, for those of you that were familiar with a 5P and backup, there were 4 extra boxes on this wall, taking up a lot more wall space. This is just,
I was gonna say, I don't even think we would land the 5Ps on this wall. I think
Oh,
it would
right.
be around the corner on the other side. You'd have caught snaking
over the
around
hills and through the
and
woods.
far
for
away.
sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, and there's a lot of these now. We've sold, I think we're up to 4 or 5 megawatt hours sold just through the last couple weeks. So it is getting adopted. You will see it more in your competitive bids more and more when other companies are offering it. And yeah, we're super excited about it. I'm really excited about it because I've wanted to kind of counterpunch some of our competitors for a while now. And I think this is a pretty strong counterpunch here. So
Very cool. I have a selfishly, I'm going to ask about my situation here. I've got M250s, and I know that there's the upgrade program out there, but I was told there might be scuttlebutt that these are going to be able to be somewhat agnostic. Like I don't
Yeah,
have to upgrade.
the answer is yes, you can do M250s and a 10C. The nuance to that is that you will land that anything that's not an IQ series micro, you will land in that load control space in the combiner. Big thing to know is that batteries will the solar system will charge the batteries while on the grid, but they will not charge the batteries or recharge the batteries off grid.
That is okay. That's good.
My recommendation would still be to upgrade the micros. We
upgrade.
are working on a software or firmware patch that will allow them to be charged by both. But the upgrade program is actually really exciting. The pricing is really good. You can upgrade them IQ7s or 8s for super cheap. And
yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, ESP can do a bunch of that. So my recommendation in that situation would be to upgrade. You got a 250 system, Danny? You got to hit me up for this sort of thing, dude.
Bro, I've been rocking it since 2017, so it's going strong still. But
like I said, as a guy who has an iPhone 7, I can relate to it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yep. I just need to talk the wifey into like, hey, I know that this is your favorite corner of the garage. Can I put a battery here? Is that okay?
That's it, guys. Any question? I'm happy to take questions. Happy to go over anything else that you guys need me to.
Yeah, I got one from an anonymous attendee. Are there suggestions for, how many batteries we should add per kilowatt minimum or max? Let's say you got 10,000 kilowatt hours that you're trying to supply to the homeowner. How many batteries would that be? Is there a rule of thumb?
Yes, fantastic question and a really good one. The answer is yes, to some extent. We generally recommend 1.5 to 2 kWh of storage for every 1 kW of solar. So if you have a 6 or 7 kW system, we're generally recommending 15 to 20 kWh. Load control makes a big difference here. Again, if it was my house and I had an AC unit, I would drop that AC into combiner and only buy one 10C because I don't need the second one to power my entire home minus an air conditioner. But generally speaking, if you have what I would call like a typical homeowner usage profile, which is, less usage during the day when they're ostensibly not home, more usage from 4 to 9 p.m., you generally want to err on the side of more storage because you want the system you want every kilowatt hour of production from the system to be captured and reused rather than purchased from the utility.
Yeah, 100%. I think our rule is the 150% ish range of getting enough padding on the capacity so you can catch everything like you said.
I'm getting a 5 kW system at my house and I'm a 10 kWh.
Nice. Yeah, mine's like, so I think my system's 3.9. I always forget, but yeah, I'm gonna get a 10. So maybe add a couple more.
What else?
Let's see. Yeah, anybody else drop some questions in? Len and I answered your other question directly about getting the quote for the upgrades. Just reach out to Enphase directly. Yeah, once you're connected with one of their specialists, they'll get the they'll get
Yeah,
quoted.
just email me and I can make sure. We have an inside sales team that runs that upgrade program and they're great. They're really quick. They'll get you that info super fast. So, and we're beefing that up in preparation for 2026. So it should be a good experience for you guys.
I would encourage our partners that are out there. Let's tag energy service partners on our social media. If you're following us on Instagram and you have an install by us, take some photos, get with your families, smile for the camera, send it our way. We would love to share your experience. We want to make sure everybody's happy. We had an install that was occurring yesterday and they uploaded a reel. It was amazing. So be on the lookout for that. And if any of you guys have that, then we just want to share your experience. So do you happen to, what is it, at Energy Service Partners?
Yes, on Instagram at Energy Service Partners. We made you spell it
And
all the way out. I'm sorry.
And just a note from the guy in the trees, Michael, thank you so much. You guys, Michael is incredibly knowledgeable about all things, not only Enphase, but just solar and surfing. And he is more than willing to have a conversation with you and your team, or even with your homeowner, although it's dangerous, but because homeowners are dangerous, but he's the guy. He can help you break this whole thing down. And he's proven it already in the time that we've worked together and helping out a lot of squads. So thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. It's going above and beyond to not only just talk to all of the sales managers, dealer owners, but sales reps and homeowners. I really appreciate that in a huge way. I know Brandon and Danny and Michelle do as well. So thank you for all of that and continued partnership.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Obviously, love working with you guys. You guys are my favorite partner to work with. So anything I can do, guys, to help. Like I said, I talk to homeowners a lot of times when sales reps just aren't super confident in what they're selling, and I'm happy to do that. I want to make sure the experience goes well, and every single battery you guys sell gets me closer to taking a sailboat to Fiji for the rest of my life and surfing circles around Andy, just to be clear. So
Yeah, let's go. We're going to Tamarua.
Anything you guys need, just let me know. That is my cell. That's my email address. Reach out. That's the job.
Perfect.
Cool. Thanks, dude.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Well, guys, that's a wrap.
That is. We got one more little segment, our moment of Zen, our things to think about.
That's right.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Well,
I personally love this one just because, again, I think a lot of us, especially if you started on the doors like a lot of us have, you have to be able to motivate yourself and keep going. And you feel like you're like, oh man, I'm just a lone wolf out here in the field. But the truth is, we have so many people here rooting for every one of our partners, and working together, we're going to be able to make such amazing things happen. So don't ever feel like you're out there in the weeds by yourself. We got you.
Look, a wolf pack of one is cool, but a whole crew is a lot more fun. Trust Zach Galifianakis and myself. Things work a lot smoother when you have a whole crew with you to run with. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks again for tuning into an excellent episode. Appreciate, Michelle, Michael, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you on the next one.
We'll get this uploaded, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Got it.
Cheers.
See everybody.